College Algebra, Topic 2.6. We'll be solving this inequality. First of all, since this inequality is greater than 0, we're looking for positive solutions. Now let's factor this into two parts, and I'm going to temporarily use equal sign here only to represent the equal sign there. So this will be 3 minus x and 3 plus x when I factor this into two conjugates. Okay, then I need to solve each piece. So 3 minus x equals 0 and 3 plus x equals 0. Here I'll add x to both sides and I'll get 3 equals x. Here I'll subtract 3 from both sides and I'll get x equals negative 3. Now once we get our solutions here, we put all our solutions on a number line. So negative 3 and 3. Now because this originally used a equal sign for 3, this will be closed, and this used the equal sign for negative 3, this will also be closed. Now from there, I'm going to start testing each of these sides. This side here I'm going to test with x equals negative 10. This area I'm going to test with x equals 0. And this area I'm going to test with x equals positive 10. When I put negative 10 into the original problem, 3 take away a negative 10, you get 3 plus 10, which is a positive answer. 3 and a negative 10 make negative 7, that's a negative answer. So a positive and a negative means that this area is negative. Now if x is 0, we get 3 minus 0, which is positive, and 3 plus 0, which is positive. So we get two positives, which is positive when you multiply them. Now if x is 10, we have 3 take away 10, which is negative. And 3 plus 10 is going to be positive, so a negative times a positive means this area is negative. Now remember, we were looking for positive areas. This is the only positive area. So this area will be the solution. Right there. And we can also write that in interval notation, which is negative 3 to 3. And also set notation, which is x is between negative 3 and 3. Alright, number 4. Okay, once again, looking here, we're looking for, this is less than 0, so we're looking for solutions that are less than 0, so we're looking for negative answers. Okay, then let's factor this into a 3x. We can factor out a 3x, and that leaves behind a 3 minus 2x. There's no equal sign, so I'm going to write not equal to 0 here. Just to remind me there's no equal sign for that one. Okay, let's solve. 3x does not equal 0, and 3 minus 2x does not equal 0. I'll be solving both of these. Divide by 3 on both sides. We get 3x does not equal 0. Here, let's add 2x to both sides. And we'll get 3 does not equal 2x. Then divide by 2. And we get x does not equal 3 over 2. Alright, so we got two answers. Let's build a number line. And put the 0 and the 3 over 2 on the number line. Okay, remember 0 does not equal, so that means that's an open circle for 0, and the 3 over 2 also has a not equal, so that's also an open. Now I need to begin to test these areas right here. So I'm going to use x. X equals let's say negative 10 for this area. For this area, I'm going to use x equals 1, and for this area over here, I'm going to use x equals positive 10. Okay, so if I have negative 10 here, let's see, 3 times negative 10 is negative, and negative 10 times a negative 2 is positive, so plus 3 is positive, so all that's positive. So this area is negative times positive, which is negative. Okay, now x is 1. 3 times 1 is positive, and negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus 3, that's positive, so that's positive, positive, so that's positive. And x is being 10, 3 times 10 is positive, but negative 2 times 10 is negative 20, plus the 3 is still negative. So this area is going to be negative. And so we're looking for negative areas, right here, looking at negative areas. And so the areas that we need to use are this one and this one. So those two will be solutions. So let me write those. 0, and this one right here, 3/2. So these two pieces right here will be the solutions. And I can rewrite that as negative infinity to 0, open parenthesis, union, 3/2 to positive infinity. Or I can say this is going to be x is less than 0, or x is greater than 3/2. All right, let's take a look at number 3. On number 3, we don't have the 0 on this side, so I'm going to have to take the 2 to the other side in order to have this set equal to 0. So this will be 3x minus 6 all over x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 0. And now that we have all this is greater than or equal to 0, this lets us know that we're looking for positive pieces. Okay. Now we want to combine these two, so this has to have the same denominator as this. So I want to multiply this by x over x. So we'll get 3x minus 6 minus 2x, everything over x. And now I can combine the 3x and the negative 2x and get an x minus 6 all over x. Now from there we'll separate the numerator and denominator. Remember, the numerator always follows the sign here, whereas the denominator is always going to be not equals to. Alright, so x minus 6 is going to be equal to 0, whereas x is not going to be equal to 0. And so when I solve this side, I get x equals 6, and this side is still x is not equal to 0. So, put all that on the number line. Here's a 0, and here's a 6. Okay, the 6 has equal signs, so that's going to be a closed circle. The 0 has a not equal sign, so it's going to be an open circle. And now to start testing. I'm going to test this side with x equals negative 10, test this middle part with x equals 3, and test this side with x equals 10. So if we have negative 10, and we put it, let's see, oh sorry, this one right here. Negative 10 or negative 6 is negative. Over a negative 10 is negative, so that'd be negative over negative, which is positive area. 3. 3 minus 6 is negative, but 3 itself is positive, so it'll be a negative divided by positive, which is negative. If x is 10, we have 10 minus 6, which is positive, and 10 is positive in and of itself, so we have positive divided by positive, which is positive, and we're looking for positive areas right here. Therefore, this piece and this piece will be solutions. So we'll use this piece right here, and we'll use this piece right over there. Okay? And furthermore, we can write this as negative infinity to 0, open parenthesis, union, bracket 6 to positive infinity. And this can also be x is less than 0, or x is greater than or equal to 6. Alright, number 4. Once again, we want this set equal to 0, so I'm going to move the 1 over. So this will be x plus 4 over 3x minus 1 less than or equal to 0. And with this, we have that, since this is less than 0, we're looking for negative pieces. Alright, now for the 1, we want to combine the 1 with this, which has a denominator of 3x. So we're going to multiply this by 3x over 3x. As a result, we're going to get an x plus 4 and a negative 3x all over 3x. And that'll be less than or equal to 0. The x and the negative 3x combine to give us a negative 2x plus 4 all over 3x. Okay. And now we'll separate this. The negative 2x plus 4, negative 2x plus 4, we will follow the sign, so it's going to be equal to 0, whereas 3x will always be not equal to 0. Okay, so If I subtract 4 from both sides and divide by -2, we'll get x equals 2. Here, if I divide both sides by 3, we'll get x does not equal 0. So those are my two numbers for my number line, a 0 and a 2. The 0 has a not equal sign, so that'll be an open. The 2 has an equal sign, so that'll be a closed. A closed point. Let's close that a little better. Okay, so let's start testing. So x equals, let's say, -100 for this area right here. X equals 1 for this area, and x equals +100. You can choose any number that's in this area. It doesn't have to be -10, doesn't have to be -100, just any number that's within this area. So let's go back. So -100 for x. Let's put it here. -2 times -100 is positive, and +4 is still positive. And 3 times -100 is negative. So positive divided by negative is negative. Now x is 1. -2 times 1 is -2 plus 4 is positive. And 3 times 1 is positive. So positive divided by positive is positive. Now 100. -2 times 100 is -200 plus 4 is still negative. And 3 times 100 is positive. So negative divided by positive is positive. Sorry, negative divided by positive is negative. Sorry about that. Alright, so we're looking for what? Oh, let's go back to the original. We're looking for negatives. So that'll be this area and this area. So this will be here at 0 and here at 2. Those two areas are negative. Or we can be represented by negative infinity to 0, open parenthesis, union, bracket 2 to positive infinity. Or this can be x is less than 0, or x is greater than or equal to 2.